So how much money have you spent going to the therapist or the counselor? I bet you multiple sessions, maybe for months or even years. So we found a way to reduce or basically eliminate in just moments what could take weeks or even months going to therapy for. And I'm going to talk about that at the end of this video because first of all, we need to understand what these things are, what stress is, to be able to understand how to clear it.
Stress simply means overwhelm, too much of something. So we can categorize stress. Physical stress, using your body too much and not getting enough rest to rebuild. Pulling muscles, misaligning joints, getting injuries.
Let's talk about chemical stress. This is the food we eat, the water we drink, the showers we take, and the environment around us.
Okay, then there's electromagnetic stress. That is the waves given out by transformers in anything electrical, from televisions, cell phones, computers, fluorescent lighting.
When you're under emotional stress, what happens is the adrenalines take off and put you in fight flight. And when this happens, the digestive system slows way down so that you can have more blood to your muscles, so you can run from the dinosaur or run to the dinosaur. And this is only supposed to happen once in a while. And in our society today, it's happening daily, all the time, maybe even 8 hours a day, maybe 12 hours a day.
So there's different types of emotional stresses and there's different ways to address them. Emotional stress typically can cause chemical and physical stress. You can physically feel the discomfort in your body when you're emotionally compromised. So let's talk about emotions. Emotions are basically things that we think about and we experience them through an intense feeling, which ends up starting with our mind and going into our organs. So really intense emotions kind of start from here and end up in here. And that's where we start feeling them. So let's go through some of the most common emotions and where they end up in our body and where they end up doing damage. So the things that you are finding to be not in harmony are emotional stresses, and there's different levels of them. The massive ones we call massive MPRs or chronic MPRs or global MPRs. Those are groups and groups of traumas. The trauma is when you feel multiple things at the same time. You're very angry, you're very hurt, you're also very worried, and all of it is impacting you at the cellular level so badly that you're getting allergy that's 96x. So you remove the trauma, the allergy goes away, you digest your food, you absorb the nutrients, you sleep better, telomerase happens, anti-aging happens, anti-swelling happens, healing happens. And your body heals 16 times the speed that it took to mess it up. 16 times. So some people spent 20 years messing their body up, so it might take a few years to get out of it. But other people have only spent so many months messing it up, and then they see recovery in weeks.
The way we test stress in a person is by a very simple method that was discovered and put on the map in the early 60s in this country. And it was called, the methodology was called applied kinesiology, which simply means manual muscle testing. That is, you just test the muscle, see if it's strong or weak. It's that simple, how strong or how weak by how much pressure you use. And this was all came to fruition in the 1960s when the International College of Applied Kinesiology was formed. And then they would give courses teaching doctors like myself and certifying people as professional muscle testers, part of the International College of Applied Kinesiology. And I've been using this technique for 30 years to measure stress in people, and it's extremely accurate. Nothing's perfect, but we do have methods to rule out as much imperfection as we can. It's better than anything I've seen, and the results are spectacular.
But really, there's a lot of different types of stress, and all of them affect the other sides of square. Remember we talked about in my other videos, the health square? The human body is designed in 4 sides. You got a structural side, a chemical side, an emotional side, and a spiritual side, or an energetic side, we can call it. A lot of people don't realize that stress can be impacting on all 4. You can have structural stress, you can have emotional stress, chemical stress, you can have energetic or kind of a spiritual dynamic of stress. And I want to share with you not only what stress is, but at the end of this video, I want to share how to reduce it. Because your body it's simple. I mean, you go to medical school for 8 years to learn how complex the chemical function is and the physical function is. Because that is complex. Your physical function is up here. It's very dense, it's very complicated, and it has all these different things going on. The layer below that is your chemistry layer. Your chemistry layer is not as complex. There's just hormones and there's process of chemistry that are in your blood that are happening. It's still there's a lot of science in there, but if you go lower than that, you've got your emotional layer. Your emotions control your hormones, and your hormones control your physical body. Okay, so each layer controls the other. What's the layer below emotions? Everyone's like, huh? The layer below emotions is your energetic layer. The energetic layer is the communication energy between your cells. It is the soul. It's your chakras. It's your will. It's also called your innate intelligence. Okay? So anytime people are talking about a soul, that's basically the energetic layer. Okay? So when you adjust the energetic layer here, that's the most simple layer. It doesn't require 8 years of medical school. If you learn how to tweak that layer, the emotions will follow in seconds.
So that's the foundation.
That's the foundation of anti-aging. It's the foundation of anti-disease. Okay, it's the foundation of anti-war and anti-anger and anti-low self-esteem and all the things that people are struggling with in life. If you can mess with the energetic level, you can adjust so many different things, and that's why I've changed how I approach the name of my company. I used to have a different name, and now it's 5 Neo Philosophies. Okay? Neo meaning new. So 5 new philosophies. There are 5 basic philosophies that people will do anything for. People will pay any amount of money, they'll put any amount of effort, they'll put all of their time and resources in to have these 5 things. Who can guess what those 5 things are that don't already know me? Okay? So health. So there's 5 philosophies people will do anything for. Okay? Health. People will do anything to not be sick. Okay? Once you're sick and you've got a disease, it's a crisis. It stops everything else in your life. Okay? The second one, happiness. Happiness is having these 5 things. Happiness comes from these 5 things. So what would be the second thing? Money, wealth. Health, wealth, good relationships, self-confidence, and a spiritual connection. If you have these 5 things, you will have happiness. Health, wealth, relationships that are good, strong self-confidence, and a spiritual understanding, a spiritual connection in some way. If you've got these 5 things going on in your life, it's almost impossible not to be happy. How can you not be happy with all those 5 things? Right? Because whatever's missing is going to fall into one of those 5 categories. And I'll tell you right now, In our world, we have separated these 5 things. We've separated them into all these different categories. If you want health, you go to the medical people, but they don't have all the answers. If you want wealth, you go to your CPA and you go to these bankers, you go to these seminars about inner strength and communication and all these things. But your health affects your wealth. Yes? That's your self-confidence. So the 4th one is self-confidence. If you don't have self-confidence, how are you going to have good relationships? You don't love yourself, how is someone else going to tolerate you? Right? The more you have self-confidence, the more you care about yourself, the more you feel confident in your decisions and you're able to manifest good things in your life, you're going to generate more wealth, you're going to generate better health, you're going to generate good relationships, you're going to have an understanding of who you are spiritually, who you are emotionally, and where you're going. So now that we know that emotions are magnetic, that is the way that we address healing and reducing negative emotion is with magnetics. And so what we've devised is a method of using magnetism against the governing vessel. The governing vessel is basically your spinal cord. That's a whole channel of nerves to every organ and gland in the body. So when you are wanting to address emotions and reduce them, it's imperative to activate the nervous system, and you can read through or command NLP, neuro-linguistics. Neuro-linguistic programming is how to reduce negative emotions, but it doesn't work as well by itself unless you combine the right magnetic activation. So when you put magnetism and neuro-linguistics together, you kind of get miracles at that point. These videos about emotions, negative experiences, traumas, family projects, these are things that you don't hear so much of, and I encourage you, if you like this video, to hit the like button and subscribe. Share this with somebody that you really care about, that maybe needs this information. Share and let other people know about these discoveries. It's my goal to put this information out there so everybody can help themselves. Rather than me working on one person at a time, we can learn how to engage with each other, become more partners, become more assistants to helping each other, helping our children, our partners, friends, and getting to where we can address some of the deepest, complicated things that are going on with our human systems and get out of our negative programming, get out of these emotions, these blocks, these breaks to getting what we want, and getting into more of a creative place, of a freedom place, a place of less discomfort in our bodies. There's less tension and pain in our bodies, and just improving the overall function of all systems. My goal is to make as many videos as I can on all these new protocols, and every few weeks I'm going to deliver more videos about another protocol that's going to change the way you see the 5 neo-philosophies. I really appreciate that you joined me today. Look out for our upcoming videos, and I'll see you then.